This past week, our Holy Father, the Pope, announced that he would consecrate, which really means dedicate, the Ukraine and Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And he asked that all of us would pray in a special way for the people of those two nations, and in reality, the people of the whole world, but in a special way, the people of the Ukraine and Russia. And perhaps you've heard that, or perhaps this is the first time you're hearing of that. And maybe a thought that comes to our mind is that prayer isn't going to matter. Children, mothers, innocent people are being targeted. It's not going to matter. It's not going to make a difference. Maybe when we look at the things happening in our world, we think, what does prayer matter? But the reality is prayer does make a difference. When we know that somebody is praying for us, it gives us the grace to remember that we're not alone, that somebody else does care. When the people in the Ukraine and Russia know that other people are praying for them, for some it will not make a difference. But for many it does make a difference. When we look at our own lives, if I know someone's praying for me, it gives extra grace and strength. And when we pray for somebody else, it reminds us that we're connected to people, not just local in our own families, but for people all over the world, that we're all children of God. So prayer helps us because when we pray for somebody else, I remind myself that I'm not alone. I'm not just here. It's not just about me. It's about people throughout the world. When we pray, it also gives us an opportunity to look at our own lives. Now, we might think in this particular situation, well, we're not doing what's happening over there. We're not killing and targeting innocent people and children. So how is that going to help me to look at my own life? Well, that may be true. We're not killing anybody else. But when we use certain words and when we act in a certain way, we harm other people. It may not be in the same way. But what if I really stopped and thought, when I say certain things, I'm harming other people? When I do certain things, I'm harming other people. That's the nature of sin. The nature of sin is that it doesn't just hurt us, it hurts others. And sometimes we can see it clearly, and sometimes it's not as easy to see. So while, yes, when we take a look at ourselves, we may not be doing the things that are happening in the Ukraine and in Russia, but it's an opportunity for us to say, what am I doing that might be causing harm to somebody else? What am I saying that might be causing harm to somebody else? And Lent isn't a time when we think about those things and then we beat ourselves up. It's a time to say, maybe I need to think about what I'm saying before I say it. Whether it's to a family member, a friend, or somebody I don't even know very well, or somebody that maybe I don't care for so much. Maybe I need to step back and think of the things I'm doing. And it might be to somebody in my family, friends, somebody I don't know very well, or somebody I don't care for. So perhaps this is an opportunity for us to say, yeah, I may not be doing what's happening, but what am I doing? What am I saying? And again, that's not so we can beat ourselves up. It's so we can invite God in to be our grace and our strength. And Moses saw the fire flaming out of the bush, but the bush was not consumed. That was a moment that God placed before Moses. What are the burning bush moments that maybe we're ignoring, that we're not paying attention to, that we're not listening to? Are the moments perhaps God's trying to speak to us and we aren't paying attention? Come no nearer. The place where you stand is holy ground. You know, everywhere we go is holy ground. What if we thought about that? Holy ground isn't just this church or the parking lot or certain places. What if we stopped and thought that every place I am is holy ground? What if in our houses we thought, this is holy ground? If my house is a holy ground, what would I do differently? My workplace is a holy ground. Driving is holy ground. What if we thought of things that way? What should I tell them? Who should I tell them sent me? Say, I am sent you. That's pretty clear. I am. It's like, okay, that's everything. I am. Not I am this, but I am. You know, when I was in college, the house I lived in, we called it the house because we thought, it's the house. Doesn't need any other name. It just is. It's the house. What if we looked at God in the same way? Who's God? I am. He just is. That's who God is. The Psalm said, bless the Lord, O my soul. Do my actions and words bless the Lord, the core of who I am, at my soul. He redeems your life from destruction if we allow him. He wants to redeem us. He wants to make us whole. He wants to make us new, but he's not going to force us. These things happened so that we might not desire evil things. Do not grumble. We wouldn't be here tonight. We wouldn't be streaming tonight if we desired evil things, but sometimes evil things happen. It's when we allow the Lord to come in and to be a part of everything, that when those evil things come upon us, they don't take us over. And the last line, whoever thinks he is standing secure should take care not to fall. That means we might think, oh, everything's fine, I don't have to do anything. And God, again, is saying, take a look at yourself. Again, not to beat yourself up. Each and every one of us can take a moment to take a look at ourselves and say, where can I act a little differently? Where can I speak a little differently? Where might I be hurting people or harming somebody in a way that I really don't want to do? And then, in the gospel, you look at the Galileans and you think how great sinners they were, and so you point at somebody else. That's the danger. We can point at what's happening over in the Ukraine and say, look at what that person's doing. Instead of taking a moment to say, what am I doing? He's a greater sinner than we are. They're greater sinners than I am. Yeah, there's some sins people commit that are pretty bad. But the problem is, because of that, we can fail to take a look at ourselves. Again, not saying that so we can beat ourselves up. And then, for 3 years, there's been no fruit on this tree. Cut it down. The person says, no, give it 1 more year. The great thing is God gives us more than 1 more year. He gives us however long it takes. But the reality is we don't know when this life's going to end. So, on the Feast of the Annunciation, when Mary was told by the angel Gabriel that she would be the mother of God, the mother of Jesus, the Pope is going to consecrate, dedicate, pray for the people of Russia and the Ukraine. And we can do the same. That's Friday. We can strive to do the same. Prayer does matter. It does make a difference. Prayer changes the people who are prayed for because they know they're not alone. Prayer changes the people who pray because they realize it's bigger than just themselves. And may we take the chance in a loving way for ourselves, not in a harsh way, but in a loving way, may we take the chance to look at ourselves and say, where might I be hurting somebody else, harming somebody else with my words and my actions? And then simply ask God for the grace to allow His Spirit to guide everything that we do.